Well, once again, we are live. Thank you very much. I think we're a little bit early. We're 2 minutes early.
Yes, for once.
2 minutes early. Yeah. All right. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm Johnny. That's the Greg. This is our podcast. And while you guys are listening to Greg's riveting reasons on why you should give Audible a shot, please like, subscribe, share, and tell everybody you know about a certain Johnny and the Greg.
So I want you to envision, and let me take you on a little trip. It's early spring. It's getting warm. You can feel that sweet, sweet spring breeze just coming through the window, and you decide that you're going to go out on the back porch. And you're there, and you're sitting, and you're like, what am I going to do? Am I going to read a book? Well, I don't know if I want to read a book. The breeze is there. And you pick up your phone, and you go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to the sweet sounds of an audiobook. So you go and you bring up your browser and you go to audibletrial.com/JATG, where you can sign up for a free 30-day trial of Audible. All the books you buy are yours to keep, and you can get anything from comedy to just something that's nice and relaxing. You can just cuddle up with your phone, let that sweet spring breeze wash right over you, and then it's yours. You can just keep it. 30 days on us. audibletrial.com/JATG.
All right. If you guys missed any of that, you guys got to jump on YouTube, because I actually did the acting while Greg did the narration. So, Greg.
Good times.
On the agenda today, we got a couple of things we'd like to talk about. Some things happened. I guess the first one thing we'll talk about is the Thor trailer finally came out.
Oh, you want to start with that?
Where do you want to start on?
Well, I thought we'd start with Mike Tyson, because we're probably going to spend more time on Thor.
Let's go with Mike Tyson.
Let's start with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know if you all saw, but it was last Wednesday. Mike Tyson got into a little bit of I don't know what we call it, an issue. So he's on a plane, JetBlue, of course, the new Spirit Airlines, it seems, because they are just on the ass end of service. But Mike Tyson's on JetBlue. He's flying from San Francisco down to, I think, Miami was where he was headed. And he's got a fan sitting behind him. The guy's super stoked that, hey, I got Mike Tyson sitting in front of me. Now, keep in mind that this is not a coach flight. This is first class all the way. Yep. And yeah, this guy just decides that, you know, he starts talking to Mike Tyson, love what you do, yada, yada, yada. And Mike's really cool about it. He's like, hey, thanks for being a fan. The guy says he wants to get a picture with Mike. Mike says, sure, no problem. And they take a picture, and then the guy just keeps going. He just keeps pushing, keeps pushing. And to the point where Mike asked him to stop. He's like, hey, buddy, I took your picture. Yeah, everything's great, but why don't you just back off now and let's just enjoy the flight? Yeah. The guy does not stop. He keeps going. Eventually throwing a water bottle reportedly at Mike, and Mike didn't like that very much. And it ends up in this kind of situation where Mike is just
pounding the shit out of him.
It's out of this guy.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot for Mike to pound somebody.
No. Like
he has the high ground there, Anakin. So
yeah. If you're thinking you're gonna pick a fight with somebody, you do not ever pick a fight with Iron Mike Tyson.
No, you
Like,
really,
that's just,
really don't. Like
you don't
this
do
guy,
that.
this guy. Actually, I saw how he looked after Mike punched him.
Yeah.
And he's got some cuts on his side of his head here, and he's lucky that's it.
Not just like cuts, like literally fist shaped.
Yeah.
You can tell where Mike's knuckles were.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that happened on Wednesday, and of course it blew up on Thursday.
Of course.
And everybody's like, what's going on? And the immediate comparisons to like celebrities hitting other people. So like the Will Smith slap came in, and what's going, these people that are these celebrities that think they can get away with stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we didn't say anything about it. I didn't do a hot take on it, anything like that. I just waited because the reports have really come through. Even as of today, San Francisco Police Department has reported they did respond to an incident at the scene. They added that after one of the people was treated for non-life threatening injuries. So the person that got beat up was not permanently injured or anything like that, provided minimal details of the incident and refused to cooperate with the police during the investigation. So this guy was not talking to the police at all. Like, just whatever. Reports came out that this guy, he was highly intoxicated. And would not stop provoking Mike at all. So like the witness reports are like, the guy was being an ass, and Mike eventually just had enough and kind of broke down. Now, the other thing that came up that I was doing a little research just before the show, this guy, 36-year-old Melvin Townsend III, had his first encounter with the cops, let's see, in 2018, where he stole a trailer and hitched his pickup to it and took off with it. He's got a drug possession charge for oxycodone. And so, he served time twice, one for 20 months and then one for 15 months. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of come out of this one at all. There's not going to be a big celebrity.
No. My first thought after I watched it and I read paper, I've read enough articles and stuff, was, God, he did pretty much what we all want to do on certain days to a certain individual that gets too much in our face, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying this, if anybody wants to compare this to Will Smith and the slap, they're off.
I think that's very off.
Look, that guy had a history of, it sounds to me like, not just making good decisions. And this just falls in line with another bad decision in his life. I think it's safe to say that if he was around in the Frontiers days, he wouldn't be alive right now.
Not you mean like the Old West kind of days?
Yeah, he'd be dead. Because
we are talking airlines. I'm like, Frontier airline? What are they going to do?
No, I mean, just like what I mean by that is the world we live in now, it allows idiots to survive a lot longer. It just does. But look, Mike Tyson also has a history of not making good decisions and making very violent decisions. I mean, he did go to jail for rape in 1991. So, I mean, he's not an angel. But this is a man you don't. What would you say? Him?
Well,
you just don't pick a fight. Like, that's like picking a fight with Conor McGregor.
No,
like,
that's
like, you don't.
It's if you know. I mean, he obviously knew who Mike Tyson was,
right?
And,
but if
knew
Mike
what
said,
he was about.
"Hey, look, man, cool."
Yep.
All right. Like, the minute he told you to sit down, like,
and
sit down.
Mike is now a very calm individual. I mean, I've seen interviews with him where he looks back on his old interviews where he's talking about eating babies and stuff like that. And they're like, what was up with that? He's like, man, I was a different person. I never want to be that guy again. I mean, he's a very calm individual. In fact, about a week before, and you can find this out there too, he was at a comedy club and a guy like rushed the stage. The guy pulls a gun and actually racks around. You see him like slide around in. And Mike is able to talk this guy down. No shots were fired. They hug it out at the end. and that guy then leaves the club. If there's a person that, Mike had full capability to just take a dude down before he hurt somebody else, it could have been that guy. But Mike was very, very calm.
Right.
And it wasn't until this dude like really stepped over a line and sounds like got physical with Mike first, that Mike said, okay, we're done now.
Yeah. Look, as nice as he is, and I think he spent a lot of time.
Oh, he's done some therapy. He's done a little work.
That's what I'm saying. He spent a lot of time trying to cage that gorilla madman that he was trained to be. And I thought one of the things that he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and one of the things I got from that was he was telling his story of how he's an 18-year-old from the streets.
Yeah.
And the guy brings him in and teaches him how to be an efficient destroyer of men.
Yeah.
But he doesn't teach him how to shut it off.
Right. That's exactly true.
Mike had to figure that out. He had to figure that out after, a prison sentence and getting in a lot of trouble. And he's made a lot of positive progress where he hates the man he was.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy brought out the worst. And look, let's all be honest, people. There are people in your life right now, whether you're going to a barbecue or you're going to a family event or you're going to some sort of party, and that one guy's there that for some reason he brings the worst out of you. He just does. I have a couple of those people in my life, but they just bring the worst out of you, and you feel like, and it's like, I think I've talked to you about a couple of them, Greg, and you've told me, yeah, dude, you could do it. You could tell him off, or you could beat the shit out of him, or you could do these things and make him look this small. But the minute that's over, who do you think the bad guy's going to be?
Then what? Yep.
Yeah. You're going to be the bad guy. And that's something that has always stuck in my head since we've had that talk. And that powers, and it's like, look, you've had those moments where you lose your cool and you feel like shit after it. Doesn't even matter if you made him look like a piece of shit. Everybody's gonna look at you and think, wow, you're the one that he broke you.
And as far as I can tell, Mike and his people, Tyson and his people, have been silent since Wednesday. Like, they're not commenting.
They should.
But I think like the police are like, I mean, they've seen the video. They're like, we've seen the footage. And it comes down to a guy talked enough shit and got put in his place. And, it's tough to say, but, a lot of people would be like, oh, so sometimes violence is the answer. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to say yes. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to, but in that situation, hopefully that guy learned a lesson. Like, you can't pester and keep pushing and just expect nothing to happen.
Yeah.
So
no one's going to like this, and I don't care. You guys can give me a hard time about it, but I've told my daughter already, if somebody hurts you, that's a little kid, you punch them right in the nose. I'll handle the rest.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good advice, but that's how I feel. Like, but look, I'm a big,
you don't want to teach your kids to be defenseless.
Right. Thank you.
Or to not stand up for themselves.
Right.
I mean, there is a point where you have to say, look, if something is happening to you, especially if it's a physical thing, you have every right to do what you can to get out of the situation.
She has a certain person in her class that bites her. And I said, if he bites you again, you punch him right in the face, Daddy. And I looked her dead in the eye. I said, Daddy says that's okay. Punch him right in the face. And she goes, I'm not supposed to punch. I'm like, I know you're not, honey, but if someone hurts you, punch them.
Yep.
And so I haven't had any calls, so I don't know. But
and it's like, I can tell you exactly how that's going to go. I mean, you're going to be sitting there with the principal or administrator or whoever, and you're going to say, he's biting my daughter. In the moment, what would you have her do?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So anyway, we won't stick on that. So, but let us know in comments if you're listening, if people are listening to us right now, or if you are listening to us later. Please, guys, don't hesitate. Pause the video, pause the podcast, and give us your thoughts on it. Do you think Mike went above and beyond? Do you think Mike
did he go too far? Did he not go far enough? Let us know.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he went just fine. He hurt the guy.
Yeah,
it was enough.
Did. Yep, he shut the guy down.
I'm pretty sure the guy's not pressing charges. The guy's like, no,
I don't think so. I mean, with a record like that, and if the guy saw his own video going, oh, I was a dick. I mean, that's a losing battle there.
Right. It looked to me like his friend, just real quick, it looked like his friend was like, yeah, you know what? I feel like I need to help, but this is Mike Tyson.
Well, his friend was like, Mike, please don't, please stop.
Exactly.
Okay, I know you want, please.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. Next up, there's a very heated celebrity divorce trial.
I am shocked by this.
It is Depp v. Heard.
Yeah.
Divorce practices and maybe I'm wrong. It's actually not a divorce trial.
It's not a divorce. It's a defamation lawsuit.
Defamation of character.
Yes.
Lawsuit where Johnny Depp has brought his ex-wife to court saying that, hey, I have lost potentially millions, possibly billions of dollars.
Because I tried to keep whatever this was, I tried to keep it in-house.
Because you brought it out of her, making this a very public kind of thing. And it's true. He just lost out on the Pirates of the Caribbean movie role of Jack Sparrow. Like he had, I think, another 3 films in the pipeline.
Oh my God. Are they going to do, they had plans to do that many more?
They did. There were plans. And, and it was going to be with some very high-end directors. They were going to use some very big people were attached. I mean, because it was people coming off of Star Wars, and they were going to go into
Pirates.
They were going to go into the Pirates game again. And yeah, all that got cut. And then he had another movie role. And shoot, I should have wrote all this down. But Grindelwald. Yep, absolutely. So he was in the Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald. He was the bad guy. Now we talked about that last week, that I think they have a better bad guy with Mads Mikkelsen, but still, Johnny lost a job over Amber Heard's accusations.
And I'm one of the very few. I haven't seen the new one, but I'm a big fan of Depp in those movies. I just am.
Well, and the idea is, Amber Heard came out with, she wrote a letter where she doesn't name Depp directly. And I think she thought she was being coy about that, or being safe by not saying that this is what my marriage was like, and posted it to the New York Times. New York Times ran with it. Everybody knew that it's Johnny Depp because she's talking about her husband, and she's only been married to one. Yeah. And everybody went, oh my God, he's a maniac. Like, he's as weird as everybody thought he was. I mean, all this stuff. And now in this trial, it's all coming out. Like, even her friends are like, we never saw him be violent. We never saw this. We never saw that. Yeah. She went as far as to say that there was a makeup company. Like, she brought out like the actual compact and said, I've had to keep these on me for years, because I had to use them to cover up all the bruises that Johnny was inflicting on me.
Yeah.
The makeup company came out and said, we didn't come out with that until about 2 years ago, which is like 2 years after you were saying. Yeah. So even the makeup company is like, you lying bitch.
Yeah. What I understand here, this is a woman who clearly understood that women are usually considered the victim. And she really went at all. And from what I'm hearing, I again, going back to what I said, like, I can't believe this is such a big deal that everybody's watching this. But so far, and let me know if I understand this at all, Greg, but so far it's coming across as like Johnny's the cool dude that, like, look, dude, like, yeah. And because she constantly couldn't get a rise out of him, she was making stuff up, and she kept going above and beyond to get a rise out of this.
So she kept, I mean, there's one report of her punching him repeatedly.
Yeah.
And he then eventually did kind of push her off.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you hit me there. He's like, hitting you and defending myself to get you off me are different things.
Yes.
And it got to the point where
I know she took a shit in his bed.
I say she dropped a dookie right in the middle of their bed, and just to get at him. But what gets me even more is that it's
she's
come
on
out.
Aquaman too.
Well, hold on, we'll get to there about where her career is headed. The idea that, or the fact, it's been, everybody has admitted to this. Elon Musk and is it Cara Delevingne? She's another actress model. She's in the Amazon show Carnival Row as one of the main characters.
Okay.
She was
Wait,
in.
She's not. Okay. All right. I know what you're talking about now. Claire Devine, or
Devin. Yeah, it's like DELEVINVINGNE. I don't know how you say it. It's French. But her and Elon Musk and Amber Heard had a threesome. Like when she was still married to Johnny. It's like a well-known fact now that while Heard was like torturing her husband, she went and had a threesome with the richest man on earth and his, little model plaything.
Yeah.
And yet she's still acting the victim in this trial. Like there's so many inconsistencies. Even her own witnesses that they're calling saying like, and so you see her legal team just absolutely scrambling.
Yes.
In some of these clips, they're like someone will say something and they expected them to say something else. And they're like, oh my God. And so you see them running around and they're whispering to her.
It looks really bad. Everything that I've been seeing. And look, I'm watching highlights, and when I'm watching highlights, if it's more than 5 minutes, I do not pay attention.
I'm going to my news sources, but what I want, the kind of the bigger picture of this and is it could be shining a light. At first everybody was like Johnny Depp, this crazy motherfucker who is abusive and is now lost all of his jobs and everything else. And now on the flip side, we're finding out that nope, he was actually being abused.
Yeah.
So I want to see where his career goes after this. But then it may be opening up this idea of women being the abusers. And that's certainly not in every case. And it's certainly not in most cases, but it happens.
And, it happens a lot.
And I think, people are taking a look at this Heard case. And I think people are actually taking a hard look at Jada Pinkett Smith as like, yes, Will did the slap. That's very well documented. But
who's driving that
bus? But like what provoked him to do that? Was it just I got to get up and do this, or is there more behind it?
Right.
One headline I saw called it toxic feminism, and I thought that was certainly the wrong phrase to use because it's not feminism at all.
I don't think so.
I think it's toxic femininity, maybe, but not feminism as a political movement or a social movement. But yeah, interested to see what comes out of this one. My predictions are you're going to see Johnny Depp in a movie in a couple of years, or he'll just be like a personality now, and he'll show up at some movie stuff, maybe produce a couple things.
No, he always seems to me like he's one of those guys that genuinely likes to act. Like,
yeah, he does.
Yeah, so I don't think this is the end of Johnny Depp. Hell, if Mel Gibson can still make stuff, like
I don't think
maybe he's I don't think it's that hard for him to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean and try. He said he would never do it again.
Yeah. Which I can understand why Disney dropped him like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, so did Warner Brothers. So I can understand how he's a little hurt by that. But, all it takes is one really good night.
I hope he, whatever he does next, or whatever his next projects are,
it's just not pirates.
No. Well, yeah, I don't want to see him as a pirate anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
And I hope it's like not something in like the heavy makeup character, kind of thing. I want to see him. I want to see him be a dude. Okay. And those aren't his biggest movies, but I think it'd be good. And I hope he knocks it out of the park and wins a ton of awards.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I want to see her get fired from Aquaman. I think Warner Brothers is scrambling right now.
I think Warner Brothers is
in so many ways. In so many ways, they are scrambling like, oh, did we back the wrong horse on this one?
Yep.
And then also with this whole Ezra Miller getting arrested for the third time in Hawaii.
Pretty much, yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with our crazy talent?
Yeah. It's pretty simple. You just don't do anything with them anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that's simple to me.
I wonder if this changes contracts. Like,
moving forward, I'm sure it does.
Is there a crazy clause in there?
Yeah,
well, if you're doing this kind of stuff, we can just drop you.
Like, I mean, I know you're being like, I can't say the word. I know you're
facetious.
Yes.
Am I?
Yeah, because they can't put a crazy clause in there because then you have to prove it's crazy and shit like that.
Well, maybe not not legally insane, but just the idea where if you're doing things like if you get arrested, if you
common
get charged,
sense law,
if you're just making us look this bad,
we're done. Yeah, we're done. And now it's not only that, Greg. It's the whole situation of if they were regular people at a job, they'd be fired because you're making the company look bad. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that simple, So, but I think people need to really, you did something that you've been doing lately. I don't know if you've always done this, but you hear something like you said in the beginning of this podcast. I heard what Mike Tyson did, didn't want to comment on it, wanted to wait for a while. And I think that's what people have to start doing. Don't jump right away at what's going on out there in the world. Give it time to marinate. See if that's really the true story. See if that's not. Because we're finding out from the Mike Tyson thing as well as the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing that, it's not what you think at first. And I'm sure there's plenty of cases out there about, and I know I don't think this is the podcast to do this, but there's some serious conversations we need to have about how, females can be abusive in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And if I'm to be as serious as I can right now, before we get silly again, that's a real thing. And it's not just men that can do severe damage to a relationship. It's women. And to think that Johnny won't be changed from this, won't be scarred from this. That's something to consider. I mean, that's something to just think about and understand. So,
well, and I think with the two examples that we put out there with Heard, who physically abusive, and Jada Pinkett Smith, who I think will probably come out as mentally abusive.
Yeah. I think she belittles him every day.
And not that that's been tossed around that much, but you go back and rewatch that Red Table interview.
Yes.
Where she's tearing him down as she's talking about her affair.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, like she doesn't see.
Yeah.
I mean, and Will's been pretty open, especially through his new book, of like how messed up he was just coming into Hollywood.
Yes.
And dealing with fame and everything else and his, fragile psyche.
Right.
And I think everything was good when, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
it wasn't so good when they got married and it just degenerated, or she just,
what's funny,
been manipulating the entire situation the whole time.
Yeah. People that have, it seems to me, and I'm not an expert, but people that have severe trauma of relationships, like whether it's parents or it's past girlfriends or boyfriends or anything like that, they carry that forever. And it's it never seems to really, and not only that, they seem to gravitate towards the exact same thing.
Yeah. You hear about women a lot that they just keep dating losers and they just keep, why do you keep going back to this type of guy? Well, I think maybe some men do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, let's get silly because a trailer dropped.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
This Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday or it was Monday. I don't know what it was, but I remember it within 2 seconds of me seeing and watching it. I paused it and sent it immediately to you.
It was Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Thor trailer.
Thor 12 and 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Thor Love and Thunder trailer finally came out.
Now, let's be clear. It's a teaser. It's not a full trailer.
We need to be very clear about that
because there was a lot of angst, I think, on the internet where people like, they didn't show anything. Where's this? Where that? I'm like, it's the first teaser.
Definitely didn't show anything.
Yeah.
But they also okay.
I'm going to tell you they showed you emotional, upbeat kind of stuff.
I'm going to just give you my first thought of it, and then I'm going to let you give your spiel. After I watched it, I went, like, really? This seems odd. It seems like he's going to make some sort of emotional journey of now that he's the god of, or now that it's like he's giving up on all of it. Or it's weird. He needs to find himself. And I'm a huge Thor fan. And a big part of it is because Chris Hemsworth led me down that path. But I at first was like, okay, I'm gonna trust this because they gave me Ragnarok and I really love that. But if this tends to start going more goofy than serious, because the bad guy is Gore the God Butcher. Okay. And that's a serious story arc in the comic books. And just do it justice. Don't make it goofy. There's some times where it's okay, in my opinion, to have humor, but if you start floating more towards goofy with this, I'm not going to be a happy camper. But that's just me. I just was kind of like, I don't, and by the way, he looks incredibly puffy. Did you notice him? Yeah. He's like puffy. Like he put on a ton of weight. And I know he's doing it for Hulk Hogan.
Right.
He's doing that. But he's really big and he looks puffy. Like look at his face next time. It looks really puffy versus just even the last time he was a Thor.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't watch it next time. He just looks real puffy. That's the first thing Ursula said when she saw it. She goes, "Oh, he got puffy." I'm like, "Yeah, that looks like a little too much juicing, actually."
What?
Yeah.
You mean the superhero physique isn't as everything it cracked up to be?
Right. You can't get that in 6 months. Eating chicken breasts and broccoli.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah. So what did you think of it? So overall, I'm not blown away by it. I don't think it's amazing. Am I not going to see it? Of course, I'm going to go see it. It's Thor. I love Thor, so I'm definitely going to see it. Probably first weekend that it's open. But I wasn't blown away the way I wasn't as intrigued or oh wow, cool the way I was with the last two Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Let's just say that.
Is that including their first trailer? Like if you go back and rewatch the first trailer.
Yes, the teases got me a little bit more intrigued. This one has me going, I don't know what I just watched. You know how I feel after I watched the Thor trailer? I didn't feel excited to go see it. But like I said, I understand because Tycho said like movie's not done. So I think he had to give them a hodgepodge of things that were quote unquote done.
I mean, we're looking at
trailer guys, do something with that.
Yeah, you're literally looking at some quick shots. There's really no story elements here,
except he's kind of taking a sabbatical.
Like he's off the beaten path. Like, and you see like with the chains,
getting back to working out,
getting back into shape again. Oh, what the heck did I just do? Because I was just watching it. He's getting back into shape, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of
look at all the cool places he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean it's settings. They're not telling you the story. We don't even have a bad guy in this trailer, and I think that's purposeful. I mean they're not gonna. I mean this first trailer, and keep in mind this movie is coming out in like 2 months.
Yeah,
I mean this is a very close film. Like. Yeah. Usually when we get this kind of trailer, we are 6 months to a year away.
Final trailer. Here it is.
So I mean, I think we're going to get one more trailer possibly in a couple weeks with Doctor Strange.
I think they're waiting for Doctor Strange to have a 2-week go, and then they're going to drop another trailer because I think something ties into that.
They could be. I mean, they've done this before, where like even a post-credit scene, where to get people to go back to Doctor Strange to see this new post-credit scene that they've unlocked or something like that. One thing I did notice, and I'm just going to share my screen here. You know, he's got the Avengers hat, the strongest Avenger. I think that's great. He's got this little wife beater going as this is still a little bit of chubby Thor as he's working out. But do you see this outfit? So one of the first times Thor-ish was on film was in Adventures in Babysitting, which was in 1980.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's it?
Starring Vincent D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio played a mechanic who had a very Thor look about him.
Right. And one of the characters worshipped Thor.
Yeah. What the youngest daughter.
Girl. Yeah.
And she was a big Thor fan.
Yeah. Carried around a hammer, had a hat on
whole thing.
Yeah.
And so they come across this mechanic who's like, you know, take off. I'm not gonna help you guys. And it is a very young Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm gonna bring the picture up here.
Very young, and it almost does look like him right now after you said that.
And now that I'm looking at it again, his shirt is blue, but still, it's a crazy looking. Let me get back. I gotta get to my Zoom controls here.
Good catch, though. Good catch.
My Zoom controls here, because when you take a look at Vincent D'Onofrio with the trucker hat and the hair, and it's almost a little throwback. I think they are doing a little homage to Vince and his Thor-ish character.
That's the Kingpin, everybody. For those
that's the guy who plays Kingpin.
That's the guy that plays Kingpin now.
Which is one of the best actors in Hollywood, actually. I know a lot of people don't appreciate some of his work, but he's fantastic. And
he's not British.
He's not British. In fact, did you watch Magnificent Seven?
Yes.
So
Pratt
he plays
Pratt
and Denzel and all these guys. And Vincent D'Onofrio plays this like giant dude, right?
Yes.
Like this big. Yes. He wears bear skins. He's got this beard down to here.
Yep.
And he comes out, and like as soon as he delivers his first line, he's got this really high, kind of squeaky voice.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing the story of like, because I can't remember the director of that film, but they're all looking around like, really? That's the voice. That's the voice he's going to use. Yeah. So they did another take, and he came out high squeaky voice. And I think somebody came up to Denzel and they're like, "Are you okay with that? Like, are you going to let Vince just kind of use that high squeaky voice?" And here's Vince, he's covered in like giant buck knives and everything else.
Yeah.
And Denzel goes, "Are you going to tell him?"
Yeah.
And no one wanted to tell him not to do that voice. So they just let it play out, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. I heard that on a podcast.
It reminds me of Denzel. Denzel, speaking of Denzel, he was the guy that, hang on, pause that for a second.
I got to go back to a scene there. Go ahead.
So it seems to me Denzel's that guy that is one of those guys where it's like, you would like ask him for advice all the time. Because it just seems like he's that one guy that will just throw nuggets of knowledge to you. And
yes. Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you know what? When I say take a beat and think about things, when we go back to the Will Smith part, Will Smith incident, the fact that Denzel wasn't freaking out and went to him right away and was offering him some sage advice.
Probably gave him sage advice.
I think was like prayed with him right away, stuff like that. I'm like, nope. If Denzel would be like, he was wrong, man. I think he was just like, hey man, we all have low points, and this was one of them.
Yep.
You got to get through this. And I'm like, yeah, I would listen to Denzel. He seems like a very cool guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, back at it, we see him doing the chains. Take a look at this skeleton. That to me looks like a watcher.
Okay.
Like, look at that head. I think we can kind of see it elongated here,
chained up
in the background. For those of you that are just doing audio with us, I apologize. Check out our YouTube channel and you can see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But I think that's a deceased watcher.
Okay.
And when Uatu in What If makes a big deal about not interfering and I can't, and many or some have been lost. I think that's a watcher, and I think that might play into something there. I love this part where the boom right there.
Did he throw the coat right on Star-Lord?
Yeah, I think so. So
we see me right here. He walks away. He's not.
Yeah, he walks away. He's like not interested in the fight anymore. Yeah. And him and Korg. I think this is going to be like a big adventure of him and Korg. We got the goat boat. This here, I believe, is Olympus.
Oh yeah,
because we are going to see the Greek gods.
The Greek gods. We're bringing all types of gods, by the way.
Yeah, Marvel is really bringing out. I mean, they've got the Egyptian gods coming through in Moon Knights. We've got Greek gods coming out. We've already got Asgardians. Yeah. What's next, man? I mean, they could bring in quite a bit of stuff.
If your bad guy's Gore the God Butcher, you got to be.
I think, and that's the thing. I think they're going to be slaying some gods here. We see the Bifrost there opened up by Stormbreaker. That is Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
that was Russell Crowe. There, his back anyway. Zeus. This scene is making a big to do right now in the comic.
It's directly out of the comic book.
Get rid of Korg because he wasn't in there, and this is like a perfect panel of an artist.
Yes,
a rendition that he did of Thor, and they're saying that hopefully this guy gets a check for doing this kind of great imagery. I looked at the side by side, even back to these rocks.
It is perfect.
Yeah, I did hear one of artists.
Hey, what's that red dot? So Korg and Thor are on the rock. The next rock, there's a red dot there. You think that's anything?
Red dot.
You right see here? It? Yeah, you see that red dot?
I do not.
Really? Okay. Maybe.
Really.
At the top, at the peak of it. You don't see that red dot.
I'm not on our. On the peak of like right here?
Right where? Where's your arrow?
Oh yeah. No, you can't see that right now. Sorry.
Right there. Right here. There's a red dot right there.
I don't see a red dot.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Comes up with your screen, dude. But anyway, that shot's.
Oh shit! There is something on my screen. That's awesome. There was something.
Here we see King Valkyrie.
Yes,
she is ruling.
Looks like she's in a boring meeting.
Yep, Thornburg, and she is not happy because she doesn't want power. She's a warrior. She doesn't want this kind of
daydreaming
responsibility.
Outside. Yep.
And rumor has it that Thornburg, which is where Asgardian is right now, is going to be decimated. Like when the God Butcher comes, that's kind of what's going to call Thor out of his little meditation state. Is you got to do this, and really you don't want to put that in the first trailer. You don't want Gore the God Butcher coming right out of the gate.
That's true.
I mean,
so hang on. If we're gonna break this down, are we looking at Thor, another Thor, and Korg?
I think we're seeing Thor. Here's Korg.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. I'm kind of hoping it's maybe like a Hercules, or I don't think they're going to
Ray Bill.
I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think they're going to go that route.
Not yet.
Have you looked? Is any Beta Ray been listed in IMDb?
No, I haven't seen that. No,
I haven't seen that either. For those who don't know, Beta Ray Bill is a classic Thor character. We saw his face in the last Thor movie as one of the champions. Excuse me, of those gladiatorial battles. Right. But I don't know. No one's ever said anything. David Keith actually recently on Twitter, somebody just asked him, "Hey, if Marvel came to you and said, would you voice Beta Ray Bill?" Because he'd be a total CGI character. Would you do it? He said, in a New York minute, I would.
Who?
David Keith.
Perfect. You mean he's the voice of the Gargoyle?
Yes. Yep. Gargoyle, classic voice actor.
Yes.
And he'd be fantastic. It's David
Dude, Keith. He had a great monologue in Men at Work when he grabbed the guy's. This is a fantastic scene right here.
This here that. A lot of people are bringing this back, and I don't understand this. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is like talking about looking at the people he loves. Here's Rocket back there, Groot, the rest of the Guardians.
Yeah.
Thor just kind of brings his baby blues in there, and he's going away. And they're saying that's homophobic. Like,
why?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. I
Those
think
are the same people that say homophobic is like giving a guy a hug.
Yeah, and they're trying to go at Chris Pratt, who is a little bit more conservative, I think, in his views. And I'm just like, no, the joke here is that he doesn't really like Thor.
Yeah.
He's like, not you, dude.
Hey, look how big and puffy he is.
See, I don't.
You don't see that? Yeah, he's huge. He got big.
Well, yeah.
What I'm saying is when you get that big and you put on that much muscle mass that you have to put on, your face is going to get puffy. It just happens.
Yep, I guess I see what you're talking about. And it's like up here in the cheekbones a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable during the actual film. So Thor: Love and Thunder, and then here comes the big reveal coming up. Mjolnir has been reforged, which I think is interesting.
I think it's interesting because right now in the comic books that happened.
Yep. And he sees the mighty Thor, aka Jane Foster.
Yeah.
So my original thought on this, and we talked about this a couple shows ago, was how are they going to do Jane Foster's Thor? And right away I'm like, well, she's a multiverse Thor. I think that's going to be the easy answer, is she's a multiverse Thor.
Oh,
the
really?
fact that it is a reforged Mjolnir, I'm thinking otherwise.
Yeah, I think this is our Jane. I don't think this is.
I think it is.
The multiverse. Yeah.
Nope. I think this is Jane Foster, who we saw in the first two Thor films, and she has, she found a way, or someone found a way to reforge Mjolnir.
Yep.
And with Odin being gone and dead, that
maybe that has something to, what I noticed there? It says July 2022. It doesn't have the actual, but it doesn't have the actual release date, just July.
Oh, well, I think they just put that on there. July 2022. The release date.
I think it has something to do with the ether.
The
Infinity Stone that went into her, or I don't know. It was like the only liquid Infinity Stone. So,
interesting.
Maybe not.
The release date is July 8th. I mean, so it's the week at the weekend after July 4th.
But you're right in terms
Wednesday after July 4th.
The teaser's a minute 33, and you're just getting basically just photos of small little events.
You're getting the good time feely stuff of the trailer.
Yeah.
The car in the background there, that's why I'm thinking Thornburg is or Tonesburg, or whatever the name of that town is going to get smoked. I think that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Overall, I mean, it was fine. I mean, the Sweet Child of Mine, the Guns N' Roses in the background makes me think it's much more the same
feeling
as the last Thor movie, the Ragnarok, with Taika Waititi, really kind of getting away from that almost like faux Shakespearean exit. Yeah. I mean, but really revitalizing Thor films. Like
I loved Ragnarok.
The first Thor film, I liked it. I mean, it was very much an origin film for Thor. The second one, which a lot of people did not like, I thought it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it.
I thought it was okay.
I thought the villain was weak in that one.
Me too, extremely weak, because they have a great actor that did it too.
Oh yeah, he's very good. But Malekith as a villain was, I mean, just not that interesting.
I agree.
The more interesting thing about that is we see the brotherhood between Thor and Loki.
Yes,
kind of develop, and I thought that was good. That's where you get the good stuff out of that film.
Yep.
And so, but after the second Thor film, Chris Hemsworth was like, I'm kind of done. Like, we're not doing anything really that interesting with the character.
Right.
So he wanted to leave.
Yeah. He wanted to do his contract, and that was it.
Yep. He was done with the Avengers films, and he wanted it to be the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then Taika Waititi
sat him down and said, listen.
Says, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And they play it out. And he's like, okay. And all of a sudden he's revitalized, and it's like, this is going to be good. And Thor Ragnarok, I had a lot more comedy elements to it than any of the other ones did, but it worked.
It worked.
You had the Thor is kind of playing, or not, sorry, you had Hulk in there as second, the second character. A lot of people wondering if Hulk is going to show up in this one.
I don't think so.
I would be shocked if he did, but at the same time, Ruffalo is making appearances in some.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he's in the series. He was in.
Seems to be one of the guys
Shang-Chi.
that's going to start leading.
Well, I don't know about leading, but he's almost going to be like their guy in the chair.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like
That's. I guess that's what I meant. But
he's like their scientific. He's going to fulfill the science role that Tony had.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, what I would love to see, and I know it's just me, is in this film we see Bruce show up at like the Battle of Thornburg, where Gore the God Butcher is probably taking out Asgardians left and right, and we see rampaging Hulk show up again. None of this Professor Hulk stuff anymore. We see that Hulk show up.
Yeah,
I know.
No. I know
It's not. Well, actually, it's not just me. A lot of people like to see that. But,
right, but it does. I think what everybody wants to see is another Hulk movie.
They do. They really do.
They can't do that though for some stupid, because Paramount still owns the Hulk, and Marvel made a deal that the Hulk can show up, but he can't be
the main character.
Yeah, he has to be a side character. He can't be a main character. And I think that was a big part of why the Hulk didn't get a bigger part in Endgame. Is because they had to kind of make him kind of a side character because they couldn't.
Well, they flat out did him dirty in Endgame, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Still, that's the Thor trailer. I think a lot of people really liked it. Everybody in my family really enjoyed it. Like,
oh, good. Okay.
Like from the music cues to everything else, they thought it was great. I still would have been okay if there was no trailer.
Me too. If it just would have came out.
Okay. But on that point, I should say this. Like they brought it out, and like we said, it's coming in a couple months. Like it's the beginning of July.
Well, what, 2 weeks is Doctor Strange already? So it's coming.
Right.
Yeah, it's coming.
So, we got to get through May and June.
Yeah. That's it.
And that's it. And so this movie is right on top of us. It is a big summer blockbuster.
It's actually,
and
it's a really good time. It's Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Thor.
Right. So, I mean, Disney knew what they were doing.
Maybe not. Isn't Ms. Marvel coming out during June?
I don't know the date on that one.
Okay.
I can find out in a second. But what I did notice is
I'll look it up.
Okay. What I did notice is some of the pieces in here, actually with the whole trailer, like when it came out and it dropped and the internet was going all nuts about it, there are a lot of people, not comic book nerds, not people like you and me. There are a lot of people that had no clue this movie was being made. Like,
really?
Like they just didn't know. So, I mean, when I said I would love it if there was no trailer for a movie like this.
You need a trailer. Yeah.
Well, I think because, I mean, people call it COVID brain, call it whatever you want. A lot of people just missed the idea that this was being made.
Yeah.
And so here we are, like very close to launch.
Yeah.
And people are like, holy shit, there's another Thor movie.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's jacked in this one. What's going on? They have no clue. They don't. And that's where I think they're hanging on to Gore the God Butcher, because people have no idea.
Nobody.
They would see Christian Bale in whiteface because he's going to be like this all white, white clothes, white costume, white face kind of alien. And people aren't going to know jack about who that is.
I agree,
like the general public. So they're like, at our first peak, we just need to hit emotional notes of Thor's journey that he's going through.
Yeah.
And then we're going to hit him with Lady Thor at the end, and then we're good. So I get that. I mean, I wasn't expecting that because, of course, we've been tracking the development of this film for a while. And the fact that hearing my kids' friends, hearing some of my other friends were like, hey, Greg, did you know there's another Thor film coming?
Really?
And you're going, of course I knew this. Who are you talking?
Do Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with people like, hey, Greg, do you know that they're making an Obi-Wan Kenobi series for Disney Plus? Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow, had no idea.
Yeah.
So in that, I think that there are a lot of people that didn't know that this film was coming out at all, and they needed a trailer to go, holy shit, there's another.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't think about that. And
Yeah.
in what you're saying is true, then yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and that's, I mean, Gore the God Butcher in the comics, who goes from being like a
nobody,
like a
farmer peasant,
normal sized dude,
yep,
to being a giant, like a literal giant in the books. And he carries a very special weapon that I don't know if they're going to bring into the film. The Sword of Null.
The toys show him carrying a black sword, but
yeah,
it's not shaped like the all black.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
what the
know.
sword is called, by the way, folks. It's called the all black.
I don't know if they're going to bring, and that's tied to
Venom. No.
So I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of ties for Venom because this is not a Sony picture.
No, but according to this is Marvel,
right?
That head, that nowhere head,
right?
You know, the head that was cut off by that sword.
By the no, yeah.
Yep,
right.
He cut that. Yeah.
So this is a blade that decapitated a celestial.
Yes.
And it is like, before time was time kind of weapon.
Yeah.
So
it was dark and there were the celestials.
Yeah. It's something like that.
Yeah.
A weapon.
They could go there.
If they go that series, that way of it, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah. But if they come into the whole symbiote thing, I don't know if they can do that. I don't know either. If they've got the rights to that kind of stuff.
No.
So,
and I'm wondering how much, I mean, because technically Hela kind of had an all black sword, or she was so it might have something. It might have something to do with Hela, like her remains. It just might. Maybe. That's all. Anyway.
Yeah, we don't know what, I mean, we saw Hela look like she got stabbed by a big sword, but we don't know
what that did. Yeah.
And then Asgard blew up and we never saw her again.
Yeah.
So she could be around somewhere.
Well, I know her power died with Asgard. So
that's what they said. They said her power is tied to Asgard.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's dead.
Because Asgard isn't a place.
That's people. It's people. So she could still show up.
She could. Yeah. And we're not talking about the Melissa McCarthy version.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we're golden. I think
we started early. We can leave a little early. We're still on an hour.
Yeah. I am going to say one thing. If just for you guys out there, if you're looking for anything good, Outer Range, I don't know if it's good, but
oh my gosh,
watch it and you're going, what the
you did watch
is going on?
How far into it are you?
We got one episode left.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It is so good.
Yeah. But I was saying with Ursula, because I was getting annoyed, I paused it and I said, are they gonna we don't know what's like, nobody answers a question. Nope. Nothing's ever answered.
I don't think so.
It's like, hey Greg, can I borrow some mayonnaise? I had a guy walk into a cave one day and it's like, you're gonna answer can I borrow it or no?
Yeah. Or no. I think the answer, whatever answer you're looking for, is probably going to come within the last 5 minutes of the last episode.
What scares me about this, is that it's floating down Twin Peaks. It's floating in that area of Twin Peaks where nothing was ever established, nothing was ever said, and you thought there'd be the big payoff, and there never was.
Did you ever watch The Expanse? Did you?
No,
it's like big science fiction based off of a series of novels, but it feels a little bit like that, where you watch the first season of The Expanse and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then, but it's just so good, you just keep watching.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Josh Brolin
doing a cowboy shtick, which, ladies everywhere will want to see that.
I really appreciate actors who don't say anything and you can feel what they're thinking and what they're feeling. Dude, that prayer he did at the table.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
yep.
I looked at Ursula, and both me and Ursula at the same time. Okay. If you can picture us, this is how it looked, folks. Again, you're going to have to look on this on video. It went.
Yeah. Josh Brolin is actually a much better actor than a lot of people give him credit for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's Brand from Goonies, but he's really good. And
he is good.
Seeing him play this kind of patriarch of a rancher.
Yep.
And he's just playing it so well.
Yeah. There's like how he'll just say,
uh-huh. Yeah.
All right.
And he's saying so much by just going, uh-huh.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the episode yet, but he eventually goes into like the land surveyor's office because a big part of the show is he's going to lose a chunk of land on his ranch.
So far, I would say it's, and I haven't actually watched this, so I don't know. So let me know if I'm off or not. It's Yellowstone meets Twilight. Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Okay.
Twilight Zone. Not the vampires.
Not sparkly vampires.
No.
Hell no.
But it's like, I feel like it's that.
Yep. I mean, very much so. I think it's a lot of that. And I've watched a little bit of Yellowstone. I think, the idea though is that Josh Brolin, you don't get the idea that he's a terrible person, where Kevin Costner in Yellowstone, you're like, you're a bad guy.
Yeah, this guy's just trying to do his best.
Yeah, this guy's just trying to make it through on his family's ranch. That's, they are, I think,
3 generations.
Yeah, 3 generations into this ranch, and then you throw in Twilight Zone, but the fact that it's called Outer Range, I would have went Outer Limits for the comparison. But it's the same thing. Like this kind of half supernatural, half science fiction entity that exists on the show.
Yes.
And there's so many. You're right. There are so many questions. Like
there's so many questions. And nobody answers anything.
The girl camping out.
Yeah.
There's something up with her. Yeah. The end of the second episode.
Yes.
Where you see everybody and like they're like she's in this yellow garb and she's got more people in yellow garb. And like, is she in a cult? Is she in a cult? What's going on?
But at the end of the third episode, the freaking mountain disappears, and you're like, wait a minute, did he just see that or? So anyway, guys, we're not going to ruin it.
It is fantastic. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. So go
check it out.
So, Greg, sign us out, please.
Don't be a douche.
Boom.
Don't be a douche, especially in the vicinity of Mike Tyson.
Yes. All right. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying podcast out, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
See you guys.